It's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming. Football's coming home. Hey!
Unbelievable.
Welcome to another episode of Cheap Shot Culture. There's nothing else really to talk about other than the fact that it's coming home. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, just a pure, simple England special.
Yeah, we'll touch on both semis because both were really, really good games. But obviously, the main thing for us is that it's coming home. And if people could give me £1 for every time I say it's coming home, then I might be able to retire. Thank you for joining. How are you, dude? You okay?
Yeah, I've finally recovered after last night, and no drinking was involved. Just pure, just emotion over last night.
Didn't faze me. I just had a
Mate,
feeling.
I was shaken. I was, my heart was pounding. I was sweating. I just, then when we scored, I done my ankle in because I was jumping up and down that much. Oh, yeah, it was special.
We're gonna be
God knows if we win.
I know. Say it. Crazy.
God knows.
Pretty chilled. I text you, didn't I? Just about 5 or 10 minutes before the pen, that I felt like there was a goal coming.
Yeah,
I was right. So
there was definitely a goal coming. I think and we'll touch upon the pen in a minute, but yeah, a goal was coming regardless.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know about you, but I think before we get on to it, let's just get the Italians and the Spanish out the way.
Yeah.
We'll touch upon that, and then we can spend the rest of this video just chatting about those wonderful, wonderful people.
So Italy played Spain. It was a good game. Italy won, and they're in the final. There we go.
Okay, now on to England. So
nobody cares. Nobody's interested.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about England.
No. Italy won. That's all you needed to know. Went to pens and he won. So I actually did dead quick. So I was watching it. I turned it on, watched both halves of extra time. He went, right, this is going to penalties, and then fell asleep in that 30-second gap of them saying it's going to penalties, and woke up with BBC News going, and Italy win on penalties. Just thought it'd be interesting to say.
Let's stick with the unbiased thing. I think they're going to be difficult to beat.
Yeah.
There's a reason they've not lost in 34 games.
They're a decent side. A lot of midfield is really good. Insigne, I think if I say that right, is top. What a player.
Chiesa is a good player. I like him.
Yeah, obviously the big miss for them, and I know they missed him in the Spanish game, is the left back Spinazzola, I think is that who it is. So
Rooney.
Fingers crossed, he recovers and all well wishes to him. But for me, looking at last night, if we can play some of those through balls in between that back line, especially with Chiellini, how you whatever, with the likes of Jason Saka, Sterling, Sancho, Grealish, Mount, Foden, Kane, they'll cause them some trouble. Maybe not Bonucci, but Chiellini, I think there'll be some issues there.
We'll see. Hopefully, you're right. But they're a good defensive team.
Yeah.
And they've got some great players going forward as well. So, so in terms of the semi itself, it was really sort of like England's first setback, if you like, of the tournament, going a goal behind, and everybody was a bit wary at the start of what might happen if that's the case, because they've not had to deal with that so far. And I think that's one of the big things for me from the result is that they dug deep and they got back into the game and just carried on and went from strength to strength. Really, I think in extra time, I suppose towards the end of the main part of the game, you could feel that they were getting a bit tired, Denmark, and that's when I thought they might bring pace on and put Rashford on and try and get behind him. But you kind of just I never really felt it was going to go to penalties. Did you?
I think, well, to be fair, I think I can't lie here because you could just show everyone the text message. I did honestly think at some point we were going to get beat. It just felt like one of them nights that we're gonna try everything. Nothing's going to happen. You know, Schmeichel was pulling off some, cracking save against Maguire's header, and I just thought everything was leaning towards them just getting that, either them getting like a late goal. Because I think there was that bit I think it was the second half when I think he brought on Poulsen, and he started winning the ball a bit higher up, and he started stringing some passes together, and it was at that point I was going, "Oh, they're just going to grab a goal here." But then as the game got on, and defensively we really stuck at it, and Maguire and Stones looked strong again in that back four. Once we started to get that going a bit, and like you said, you could see Denmark tiring out.
Yeah.
And I think it was more evident the fact that we only made one sub and then he just went subs crazy in the extra time, and it was so clever by him.
Come on, didn't he?
Yeah, Grealish come on.
And then you got taken off again? Was that for an injury or was that
Grealish come on, then Foden and Henderson. I think it was just a tactical thing. I think, just to strengthen the back. Well, they ended up going to a back five with Trippier coming on, just because he knew, and maybe it's more of a. I know there's a few people who've questioned that move about why bring him on to take him back off again. But it could just be something. I don't watch him week in, week out for Villa. I know what he's like going forward. You don't know what he's like defensively, and when it's getting to that last 5-6 minutes of, you're going to expect pure Denmark bombardment. Yeah, he's going to help you with your breakaways, but is he going to get back and defend? And that's something I don't know because, like I said, I don't really watch that side of him.
I see what you mean. I think to his credit, though, he didn't pull his face or anything. He didn't throw a strap, which makes me think it's more of a tactical thing, and he kind of like, respect to the guy, he accepts it, and for the good of the game, for the good of the team, and for the greater cause kind of thing. So fair play to him. Who was your player of the game?
It's a very good question. A part of me wants to say Calvin Phillips because I thought he actually had a really decent game yesterday. And to be fair, so was Declan Rice. Both of them had a really decent game. There was times where Maguire and Stones had a little bit of a shakiness with them. But they, again, even with that, they were still decent. I know it's easy to say Sterling as well. I'm actually going to go for Kyle Walker. I actually think he's been one of the most underrated players this tournament because he's got the pace to get back. He was getting forward a lot more in the second half, especially in the extra times as well. He doesn't look phased by anything. And just because it's easy for me to say Sterling, because so especially during the back end of the game, he was pressing forward but knew when to attack, and it's easy to say him and maybe Maguire and one of the midfielders, but I just feel like this tournament, Kyle Walker's played really, really well.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, it's all right. That's your opinion. That's your opinion. For me, I think it would be Sterling again. And he's been the player of the tournament, I think. But certainly yesterday, he looks more like a centre forward than Kane does at times, I think.
Yeah.
I think again last night, I found Kane sort of like drifting wide. Whether that's the plan or whether he's just trying to get involved in the game or not, I don't know. But for me, Sterling's just, for the whole of the tournament, he seems to have played more central and looked dangerous. He looks capable of finishing. Whereas I think when you've watched him for City and he's through or he gets played in, you're not confident he's going to knock it in. But for England, he's been spot on. And you can't argue with that.
Yeah. No. You know what? I agree. He has been top. I know people will question why didn't he come off when you were bringing Trippier on, but for me, the last 5 minutes just shown why he didn't. You know, there was he scored again. Obviously, they didn't say it by Schmeichel, but you know, he could have easily took that to the corner flag like the rest of the players were doing. But I think subconsciously, well, actually, I'm either going to get a goal here, or that's going to go out, and we're going to get a corner to waste more time. So, he's been one hell of a player this tournament.
So you mentioned the penalty. What did you think of the penalty?
I think it's soft. I do think it's soft, but I still think, I do think there was a little bit of contact. Why wouldn't you go down? There was even a bit in the earlier on in the game where I think he ran through, he got in, and I think he classed into Vestergaard or something. When you watch it back, one of their defenders just shoves him, and I was like, they were struggling with Sterling all game. Two players went in at him. I think there's slight contact on his leg, not enough for him to go down, but. No. You know what? You don't. We've seen it in today's football anyway. If you don't go down, you're not getting anything. Even if it's a clear penalty, they could trip you up. But if you stay on your feet, you're not getting a penalty. So, I do. But obviously, then it balanced out because I think there was another penalty shot later in the game that was more of a penalty than the one that we got. So, soft, but I'm not going to complain.
You can understand. Well, you're not because we're England fans, so we won. And like I said, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. But I think from like an unbiased point of view, I think it's very fair for me. I was never a penalty, mate, and I kind of expected it to be overturned as well because I did think it was a clear and obvious error. I think it's minimal, very, very minimal. And then I guess if the VAR sees the touch. It's hard to overturn, but I just had a feeling that they would. I think Denmark's got a right to feel aggrieved about that, but then at the same time, count themselves lucky that they didn't concede another because that was more of a penalty than the penalty that was given. So, anyway, it means that we're through. Biggest game, biggest international game. I think we can say of our. So like lifetimes. It's the first final we've ever seen England get into. Italy had been in many, fairly recently as well. Is the pressure of the big game for home fans, the whole nation cheering them on, is it going to be too much, or is it coming home? Honestly, what's your gut telling you?
My gut's telling me that they're going to win it.
Okay.
And I think, as I said it probably in the last video. I did say if we get to the semis, we get to the final.
Yeah, you did.
Because of the fans. Italy did technically have to play an extra couple of minutes than us with the pens in the game before that. We talk about emotions and the game and play the game, not the occasion. You've had to face Germany at home, which, let's be honest, unless you're playing a home nation, is the biggest game in England for England. Playing Germany, so they've had to face them.
True.
They've had to do a semi-final, like we've seen yesterday. They had to play a big semi-final and go on a goal down in said semi-final. So they've had those tests. I know people say Italy have had the harder side of the draw, and they have. They faced Belgium, they faced Spain. But have they got through this knockout stage as comfortable as England have? No. Extra time with Austria, penalties with Spain.
You're going to say Australia then?
Yeah. Well, God knows, they're in the Eurovision, so they might as well be. So yeah, they've gone and hit all those. Like I said, extra time nearly went into pens with that. With Austria, Belgium, fair play to them. They got through that, but without, again, it was a difficult game for them.
I don't know,
We've seen the miracle recovery.
They look comfy for the majority of the tournament, including the big teams.
In the group stage, the group stage looked unbeatable, but then they got into the knockout stages and extra times, penalties, miracle injury recoveries. I'm still hoping. I think is it Immobile. I'm still hope he's all right because he recovered quick. There's all of that I just feel like group stage you were great. Pressure went on them a little bit in the knockout stages, and you could just maybe they were just feeling it a little bit. So it'd be open. It'd be huge for both sides to win it.
Okay.
Italy didn't even make it to last year's Euros, or at least the last World Cup or something like that. They didn't make it to one of the recent tournaments. Like we said, they've got the unbeaten run.
Yeah.
And England don't have to worry. England have got nothing to worry about. If they get beaten that final, it's going to be disappointing. But you know what? They've put one hell of a run. They cheered the whole nation up. There's people out there now, and I'm not stealing his joke. I watched the program the other day, and they said how many people who don't even watch football now are watching it and thinking that they know everything. I could speak to someone who never watch it in their life, and go, I think they should start Grealish.
It happens. It does happen. I remember
it's good the whole nation, and yeah.
I remember when Andy Murray got in Wimbledon final, and everybody was tennis fans. It's like it's what happens in it. Everybody gets caught up in it, which is fair enough, I suppose. Yeah. Score predictions. Then I'm going to go 2-2 after extra time.
Don't say we get beat on pens, Phil.
England win on penalties.
Oh, don't even say that. Why get even making penalties? To be fair,
I think you said it was going to be an open game, and I think I also think it's going to be an open game. Okay. And that's my 2-2 extra time. England win penalties.
Okay, roll for 2-1 England.
Extra time or 90 minutes?
I don't even want to think about it. I don't even want to think about that game going into extra time or pens on Sunday. This could be, if that goes to extra time and penalties, I'll just do it now. This is my last video. Because I don't think I'll survive it.
We'll be fine. Because you know why we'll be fine?
It's coming home.
It's coming.
Honestly, I cried last night. And I'll be honest, I genuinely did. I had tears in my eyes because, I said, the closest thing I've ever seen was the 2018 World Cup semi-final. That's the closest I've ever seen England get. Me personally,
yeah.
So to see that last night, and then see, Gareth Southgate and people. I'm going to say something now about Gareth Southgate, and no one will believe me what I'm about to say. And there'll be people out there that will say this all the time, but I'm being honest.
Okay.
Touching what I swear down. This is what I said. So.
Okay.
European competition when we got beat by Iceland, but I don't know what year it was, 2024 four. I don't know. Anyway, 6. I don't know. Someone will tell me. So we got beat by Iceland, and I was in my cousin's house. And we were watching it. Got beat, fuming. We all knew at that point that was the end for Roy Hodgson. At that point, and I sat there after the game, knowing full well that he's going to get fired or he's going to resign, one of the two. And all I said was, maybe give Southgate a shout, because at the time he was the under-21s manager.
Yeah.
And the team was getting a little bit older. Some new youngsters were creeping into the team, and I was like, he's worked with some of them, if not all of them, at this present moment, who've come from the under-21s and are going to move into that role, and they did. But obviously, it was only an interim thing with him. I think he only had a couple of games while they were looking for a manager, and obviously he did well enough to keep the job. And I know no one will believe that story at all. That now I'm saying it in the European final that I said years ago that he should have had the job. I didn't know much about him as a manager. I just thought as the bond, nothing to do with his management style, nothing to do with the way he is, but just I thought that he'd have that link with some of the players that were coming through. And I guess wow, right?
So we'll end on this bombshell, and that basically England are going to win the Euros because Bob Ricks saw into the future, and Gareth Southgate became manager, and now okay, that's fine. I believe you.
No, I know you don't have to, but like for me, just throughout these Euros, he's been very calm. He'll celebrate when we score, but even after the games, he'll just go round and just clap.
Yes,
and
he's a great guy, very respectful.
Where last, in the World Cup, he was doing this to the fans. He was constantly celebrating, and it was great to see. Obviously, the passion, But this tournament, he's said even when we beat Germany, he could have done it. He just went around, and then until last night, and you could just see the passion come out with him when it just. And I think he's held all that in, and them singing "Sweet Caroline," and it just felt like a team that is going to put everything into Sunday, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
I just want them to win it.
And we will, because it's coming on. I think I made a tenner. I'm not going to retire on that, am I? Drop your predictions for Sunday's final in the comments. Let us know what you think. And hopefully we will see you again after England bring it home.
Oh, and I'd have a different hair.
Oh yeah, you said you were going to do the folding thing, didn't you?
Yeah. So my hair, I think it's more silver than blonde. People are saying blonde, but I think it's more silver.
Whatever makes you not look like Claire Balding, that'd be fine.
So I'll have a new haircut. If England go and win it, it'll be a new haircut, new colour, silver hair, Phil Foden. It's coming home.
It's coming home. We shall see you Monday. Fingers crossed. Enjoy. It's coming home. See you later.
See you later.